Traveling by air is seen as luxury, when on land, a necessity, and on the sea, it is cruising against the tides. Whichever way you choose to travel, the end justifies the means. Whether by air, land, or sea, accidents do occur, but the expectation of everyone is to get to his or her destination safe and sound without any mishap. The Abuja-bound Boeing 737 aircraft of Dana Airlines with registration number 5NDNA had to embark on an emergency landing on Tuesday, July 19, 2022. The management of the airline in a statement on the incident said the pilots resorted to emergency landing after an indication on one of its engines. Good enough, the plane landed safely at the Abuja International Airport at about 2:52 p.m. on Tuesday, and all 100 passengers disembarked safely, while the aircraft is said to be grounded for immediate attention by Dana engineers. But what went wrong, and how can these be avoided in the future to guarantee air safety? This is our focus on Nigeria today. Welcome to the program. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. Thanks for joining us. Joining me to discuss safety in air travel is an aviation expert, Dr. Godwin Ike.
Oh,
glad to have you join us.
Oh my God. I said to you, Godwin Ike, leave any of those prefixes.
Okay, Godwin Ike, thank you for joining us.
Yes, Lydia.
All right,
Thank
also
you.
joining us via Zoom is Bello Ahmed Alkali, MD, CEO, Northeast Regional Shuttle. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure, Lydia. Thank you.
Okay, now let me come to Godwin. Okay. As an expert in this field, what can you tell us that might have been possible cause of the incident of yesterday with Dana Airlines?
One can only speculate until investigations are carried out. You cannot pin your finger, precisely, excuse me, on what might have happened. But then it's important to let you know that airplanes are very faithful machines.
Okay.
They are built well with a lot of redundancy. If this is not working, you can switch to the other. And they're actually built to work more often than not. The reason airplanes follow the skies is because human operators can be unfaithful and sometimes extremely dishonest. That's why, more often than not, the planes follow the skies. Otherwise, those machines are built to work. Okay. And if you obey the rules and do the job well as the pilots are trained to do, the likelihood is that you'll continue to make your trips, safely. Then coming back to the issue of engines, once in a while, you have bed strikes, shutting down engines. And if that happens, of course, pilots know what to do to continue to move. Other times, a few momentary technical faults. Remember, these things are, machines built with bolts and nuts and components. So one little failure in any of the components in the jet engine can make it to flame out momentarily. Okay. But generally speaking, I must tell you, flaming out of a jet engine when the plane is cruising on a cruising height is not really as dangerous as the hype I find the journalists giving to the information that an engine flamed out. It happens once in a while. As a matter of fact, I can bet you, Lydia, as a journalist that fly quite a lot, you might have been in an airplane where one of the engines flamed out without your knowledge. Yeah, yes. Oh. And what pilots do is that when it happens, they quickly, you know, using the, if it's a manual flight, using their pedals to adjust the rudder in order to keep the plane, you know, stay flying straight. If it's one of these new modern airplanes, the auto system is already built that if an engine shuts down, because what happens actually is that if you have engines placed here and there on the left and right engine, and for instance, the right engine shuts down, the thrust from this engine will tend to drive the nose of the airplane to the side of the shut engine. It's called a yaw. It will yaw the nose of the airplane towards that. And so if an auto system is in one of the modern airplanes is there, it kicks in immediately and adjusts the rudder. You know the one they call the rudder? That tall one at the tail, where you have these other membranes, vertical membranes, the one that stands this way. Yeah, that's where the rudder is mounted, and it moves this way and that way. You know, if you understand how these things work, you will know that it's not as serious as it's meant to sound. And so if that happens and it's a manual type, like one of these old 737, perhaps they don't have the auto system that can quickly take charge. But there's a principle that pilots are taught in school known as dead engine, dead foot. It simply means that if your right engine dies, then your right leg should die. That is to say, you shouldn't move it. Then you step your left on the pedal in order to adjust the rudder, because that rudder moves this way and that way, and what it does is actually helping to do a yaw. That is while the plane is still level, turn the nose this way and this way. So anytime you are in a banking position, it doesn't follow that the plane is changing direction when you are banking. The only time it changes direction is when the pilot steps on his pedal. If it's a left pedal that takes you to the left, that's when the yaw begins to move the airplane towards the left. Otherwise, an airplane can be in this position and continue to maintain a straight movement. So I haven't told you that. I haven't told you that. You see that up there, when an engine shuts down, what pilots do quickly is, first of all, is to take charge and ensure that that thrust yaw is corrected. By stepping on the pedal of a working engine, and then keeping the foot of the dead engine, you know, keeping it down. You don't use it. That's dead engine, dead foot. Now, as soon as you do that, and the rudder corrects the yaw and returns the nose of the aircraft to the, you know, to the heading that you are doing, then they begin a quick proper shutdown of the engine and restarting procedure, because the starting of an engine of a jet engine is not like your car, where you slip in your key and crank and the thing starts for you. No, that of a jet engine is a procedure. You make the necessary calls and then things are turned on after you have turned them off, and then you push for cranking and sparking rather to get it off. So very often, Lydia, when you feel a sharp pum 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 when you are flying in the air, it might just be that's a flame out. But the pilots don't want you to panic, and they know it's not as serious as it sounds to the passenger. They quickly do the needful, restart the engine, and continue the journey. And continue.
In fact, after this explanation, maybe I can fly a plane now. But now let me go to Bello Ahmed Al-Khali. Now, a crash was averted, which is, you are saying it's not too serious an issue. Now, this brings to mind the challenges that arise when there's inadequate inspection and maintenance of aircraft. How is the industry faring, the Nigerian industry now, faring in this area?
The Nigerian aviation industry is not different from any other clime. It's the same situation like it is all over the world. We have regulatory authorities that make sure these airplanes that are flying all over the Nigerian airspace are safe to fly, are well maintained. And I'm happy to inform you that any aircraft that you see in the air must have been certified as safe to fly. There is no aircraft that takes off in any of our airports without certification by the engineer to say everything is okay for us to go. I mean, there are incidences, there are circumstances possibly beyond our control when you are talking about using an equipment. Like you rightly pointed out, we are using equipment that at any point in time, anything can happen, God forbid. But ordinarily and under normal circumstances, in the situation we find ourselves, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority have top-notch engineers that are making sure that all the airplanes that are flying in Nigeria are safe to fly. And then the airlines that are operating in Nigeria, irrespective of whatever other circumstances that they find themselves in, safety is first. They will never, ever, I will repeat, they never and they will never, ever play with safety when it comes to having airplanes that are safe to fly in our airspaces.
Okay, still staying with you, the aviation industry has gone through many reforms. What really do we have on ground now regarding these reforms?
The Nigerian aviation industry, like I will always point out in our numerous interviews with you, have been facing challenges. Some are global, like when you are talking about the cost of fuel. We have also government policies that probably will affect operators. Like I said, there is no cutting corners. So whether you like it or not, you just have to do the right thing. You just have to have the right equipment, irrespective of whether it is expensive or not. It is not expensive when you are talking about safety. It will be more expensive for you when you have airplanes falling off the sky. We don't want that to happen. There are circumstances the government probably will have to come in, assist carriers in forex, assist carriers in negotiations with fuel companies, assist carriers in bringing down maybe some of the taxes and some of the levies that are enacted by the government. So, I mean, we are trying under the circumstances. I have to say kudos to all the operators in Nigeria because they are really operating under kind of intense circumstances of challenges. But so far, so good. I am confident. I always feel happy, feel free to fly any aircraft in Nigeria. I don't have any bad feeling or I don't have any feeling of the insecurity flying any Nigerian aircraft.
Thank you. Now, Godwin.
Yes, please.
What actions do you think or do you expect from the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to ensure our aircraft don't have these reoccurring air mishaps?
I don't think that language of air mishap is correct. We have a reasonable level of, I give it to NCAA very honestly, and if you know me, I am not given to flattering anyone.
Okay.
I usually say it the way it is, and my mentality is that civilized people accept criticism and get better and a lot of value to criticism. So that's my mentality, and so I say things the way they are. Those that are civilized enough to understand it would take correction and do the needful, and those that don't understand it, then they are beneath. So you shouldn't worry about them. They can go ahead. So safety in Nigeria is quite high at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. I must give it to NCAA. They've been doing quite a lot to ensure that we don't, have the kind of crashes we had sometime in the past. Yes, but for upwards of 6-7 years right now, we've had very smooth flights with just little things such as this flame out of an engine that just took place. I want to tell you again, airplanes are very faithful machines. They're designed to work. One engine of a plane of 2 engines can actually cruise you to your destination or the nearest airport at least, because you have airports here and there, you know, that you can always check your map and your position and find the one that is of the shortest distance from where you are, and then take permission from the controlling tower that's controlling the zone where you are. They give you clearance, you take the appropriate bearing and head there with one engine, and then come down nicely and land. It doesn't follow that when one engine flames out. The only worry and fear is that if it is a technical fault that killed that engine, then the worry would be, would this same technical fault affect the other available engine? But if it's a case of, say, bird strike, which of course these ones happen not all the time when you are cruising, but when you are doing your final approach and you've come down to the level where birds are flocking, they may just cross your path and get sucked in and then cause some cascading, you know, effect on the fans, those fans that they're letting air into the engine, you know. So and if well, during final approach, I must make this you know, understood to our viewers, that is a challenging time, in the sense that the plane has reduced speed and it has come lower, and the airplane at that point is vulnerable. I must admit that. At that point is vulnerable. And what the plane is saying to you, to the pilot, is, I want to touch down. That's it. I want to touch down at that level. So if a flame out takes place at that point, it doesn't necessarily mean that there must be a crash. Yes, a very, I mean, a very smart and sharp pilot, and most of them are. Most of them are really, because they are properly trained. To be a pilot and become a captain is hours and hours of flight and experience.
Let's go on a break, and we will be back in a moment. Do stay with us.
This is NTA News 24 broadcasting from Abuja. You can watch us anywhere, anytime on the following platforms:
Start Times Channel 101, Freak TV Channel 703, GSTV Channel 419, and Go TV Channel 46.
For more information, log on to our website www.nta.ng or join us on our social media handles: Facebook at NTA News 24.
For comments, suggestions and inquiries, send an email to news24@nta.gov.ng or call us on the following numbers.
NTA News 24,
news and more news.
Welcome back. The program is still Nigeria Today, and we are discussing safety in air travels. I'm still with my guests, Godwin Ike, aviation expert, and Bello Ahmed Alkali, joining us via Zoom, MD, CEO, Northeast Regional Shuttle. Okay, let me come to you, Bello Ahmed Alkali. Now, we're in the 21st century. We have come of age with the advancement in technology. Now, how would you rate aircraft in Nigeria? Are we really advanced? Are we at that level?
Believe it or not, whether we like it or not, when you are talking about aviation, it's a specialized field. So somewhere along the line, whether we do accept or not, Nigeria has to be in the same group with other clients. We are using the same airplane that is flying in America, in Europe, and other places. So it's the same aircraft, it's the same technology. And as God will have it, the Nigerian government really did play a role, because we have the capacity, and they have given the Ministry of Aviation all the necessary funding that is required to have airports that are up and coming with the necessary equipments, both for weather, tracking, and for aircraft spacing. and whatever. So we are also there. We need to be there for us to even have the Category 1 certification from ICAO. If we are not there, they will not give us that certification. So, I mean, technologically, we are up to the task. The machines we are flying are not machines that old. No. They are brand new. Some of these airplanes flying in Nigeria are brand new. We have Embraer 195 that just came into the market, being flown by Air Peace. I mean, these are brand new airplanes that they take off, they land automatically. Engines are in perfect condition. Like the other, my colleague rightly pointed out, there are issues like bird strike, which you may not actually do anything about it. It's a natural phenomenon. You are flying, you are trying to take off, and flocks of birds are there doing their own business. So if your engine suck one or two, there is absolutely nothing you can do but to have a turn around and come back and land your passengers safely. So I want to believe, and I want to assure Nigerians to please understand the safest way to travel in Nigeria as of today and anywhere in the world is by air. And for that to happen, there are some standards that has to be kept, irrespective of whether it is Africa, Europe, or America. So I am confident and I'm comfortable that Nigeria, we are also to that standard. And that's why I say I fly comfortably in Nigeria with any aircraft.
Also, Lydia, before you ask your question, let me add to what he just said to you quickly. Airplanes don't really get old.
Really?
No, airplanes don't get old. What makes any airplane described as old is if the checks that are due are not done. And let me tell you how it works. That a 6-month-old airplane that is due for, say, an A or B check, and it is not done, place it against a 30-year-old Boeing 737 that is due for a C or D check, as the case may be, and it is honestly done. That 30-year-old with is due check done is a safer plane than the 6-month-old plane that is due for an air check and it is not done. Wow. So the life of a plane is about maintenance, the checks, because the body of the plane is made with alloy metal that is virtually indestructible, except when it crashes with great force into something. So it's quite strong and is there for all times. But once you use the machine for a number of hours stipulated by the manufacturers, and they say, okay, with this number of hours put in, so and so thing would need to be changed, so and so, you know. So you do the check. If it's an A, you do it's a B. Once you do it, that plane is good to go.
Okay, now
irrespective of the age of the airplane.
You're actually answering my last question, which is talking about maintenance centers in Nigeria. Do we still have maintenance centers in Nigeria? We'll take them abroad briefly now.
Well, that's a big challenge. It's a big challenge. And that's why our airliners are having challenges with foreign exchange, because if any plane is due for a C check, you look for anywhere between $2 to $2.5 million to
get one plane.
Yes, to get that done. And then by the time you come back, you know how many trips you need to do to rake in millions of naira that will buy you $2 million. So I really feel for them. But we need to have our, the MROs, this maintenance, repair, and we need to have them in place. And it's a surprise to me that we haven't really paid attention to having this thing done, because we can actually have it here and have West African and East African countries coming to work in Nigeria and paying us in dollars. So we need to think it through and get there.
All right, we hope we get there very soon with all the reforms going on. Well, that's what all we can take on this episode on Nigeria Today. And the topic has been safety in air travels. To my guest, Dr. Godwin Ike,
Oh
an innovation
Can you leave
expert.
this, Dr. Chill?
Thanks.
Dr. Godwin
And it's been insightful to have you on set to do some explaining for us. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate you, Lydia.
And to
Thanks, my
you,
viewers.
Bello Ahmed Alkali, MD, CEO, Northeast Regional Shuttle. Thanks for your insight. Hope to have you soon, very soon.
To be with you all the time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And to our viewer back home, thank you so much for always tuning in. You can always watch this and other episodes of the program at www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Thanks for watching. I am Lydia Odijochi. See you tomorrow, same time, same station. Goodbye.